Hello everyone, this is Yana Smakula for SimonsSTM.com. Welcome back for another Yippee For Yana episode. In this video, I'm creating a Halloween card. Yep, it's that time of the year. It's time to make Halloween cards. So I'm creating a super cute Halloween card using the Simon Says Stamp Halloween Friends stamp set and coordinating dies. So let's go ahead and jump right in. By the way, all the supplies I'm using for this card are listed and linked in the video description below. So here I have a Mini Misty stamping tool and a sheet of Nina Solar Weight 80-pound cardstock. This is cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And I'm just selecting a few images from this stamp set to do my stamping. Now, I've not used these images before. They're brand new, so I kind of need to prime them a little bit. And I know Kathy Zilski does this a lot, so I figured I finally need to do this as well. I do usually do this, but I never show this on camera. So today I finally got my act together, and here I just primed the stamps by using my fingers basically and rubbing the fingers across the stamp surface. So this kind of helps prime your stamps, and this helps your stamps grab the ink and transfer the ink better onto the paper. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. This is my go-to ink whenever I want to do any sort of alcohol marker coloring. And I will be coloring these images using Copic markers. So I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink and just stamping these onto my paper. I will stamp the same image or the same images twice because I know I'll probably need more than one image to create the card idea or to create the card design that I have in mind. I'm also stamping bats, and for these I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I won't be coloring those as, they are black, so I'm just using my go-to black ink for stamping here. Next, we are going to do some coloring. I wanted to go with a girly color combination, with a cartoony color combination for this card, so I settled on using pinks and yellows. I'm using RV00 and RV10 for my pink colors, and I'm coloring a little bit of every image pink. So I have a pink pumpkin, I'm coloring the band on the girl's hat pink. I'm also going to color the pumpkin that she's holding pink. I'm using the same color as blush. The little boy's shirt will be colored pink as well, and then one of the candy corns will be colored pink. I also attempted coloring one of the ghosts pink, but I later changed my mind and colored the ghost gray or pretty much white. I'm also using grays. Here I have C9, C7, and C5 colors, and I'm using those to add black to my images. So for example, the witch's hat, the girl's hat, I'm using those to color the hat, and also I'll use the same colors to color my cat because of course we want to have a black cat for Halloween on a Halloween card. My coloring is super simple. It's very basic. I'm not doing anything fancy or anything special here. I'm just adding the lighter color and then coming in with a darker color to add a little bit of shading. I'm also using yellow colors, and here I have Y19. This is my darker yellow, and Y08. This is my lighter yellow. I'm using yellow to color the girl's dress. One of the pumpkins is going to be colored yellow. Girls' shoes will be colored yellow. Boys' shoes will be colored yellow as well. And then one of the candy corns will be colored yellow. You might want to use orange here too. I'm not very good when it comes to selecting the best orange marker colors with my Copic markers. I don't think I have a good orange marker selection, so I kind of need to go shopping and maybe pick up a few more orange colors to have a nice selection of orange colors, but yellow works just as well, so that's why I'm using yellow. But if you do have orange colors, good orange selection in your stash, maybe you can consider using orange here as well. I'm also using E51 to add color to the girl's face, to the hands, the feet, and anywhere where I have basically flesh on these images. I did not want to use any other colors, but I realized that I haven't colored the girl's hair. So I decided it's going to be pink. And you know what? I quite like the way this looks. Again, I'm using those same RV00 and RV10 markers to color the hair pink. I've sped up the coloring process quite a bit because it's, again, very simple, very repetitive, and I did not want you to watch me color these images for 20 minutes. It didn't take long, but I did enjoy the process. I enjoyed selecting the different colors and bringing these images to life. They are adorable. I love the style in which these are illustrated. You know, they're not spooky, they're cute, and they're just adorable and darling. Here you can see me coloring the cat, and here I am using the C9, C7, and C5 markers to have a black cat for my card. Here are my two panels colored, and I then use the coordinating dies and cut those little cuties out. You have the dies to cut out pretty much every little image in this stamp set, including the larger sentiments. To create a card, I decided I wanted to use Color Blends cardstock from Simon Says Stamp to have a colorful background. If you've been following my videos, you know how much I love this paper and how often I use it for my card making. So here I have one of the Color Blends sets. This is the pastel assortment, and I have picked one that has a gradient from pink to yellow, but I'm also showing you the other panels in this collection, in this pack. You can see they have very nice soft colors, and I thought that this particular background, the pink to yellow, worked really well for the card that I have, the card idea that I have in mind. So I have already positioned the images on my panel. First of all, I trimmed the panel to 4 by 5¼ inches. I do want to have a bit of a white border on my card, and I have the panel placed over an A2 side folding card base. It's not adhered yet, so I just positioned everything. I have not adhered anything at this point. I'm just going to slowly start or work on adding the elements, adhering the elements onto my background. I do have thin foam adhesive squares added from the back of each of my die cuts, and I'm working one by one, adding them onto my background. I do want to have a sentiment in the center of my panel. The sentiment will read, "Trick or treat, smell my feet." And at this point, while I'm still attaching the images, I haven't decided if I want to stamp the sentiment on the background or if I want to stamp a sentiment onto another panel and pop that panel up on my card. The reason why I hesitated, the Simon Says Stamp Color Blends papers have a glossy finish. Those are glossy papers, so it's a little bit tricky to do stamping on this paper. You need to use special ink like StazOn, ink that will dry and won't smear on this type of paper. I don't have this type of ink in my stash, so in order for me to use regular ink, I can also do heat embossing and then just heat set the ink with clear embossing powder on this paper. I did not want to do this at first because I wasn't sure if this paper is going to warp or not. But in the end, I decided to, I just gave in and I stamped it using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I did treat the paper with an anti-static powder tool. I made sure to treat this paper really well because it does take fingerprints easily. So you do want to make sure that you treat your paper really well. I then did my stamping. I added clear embossing powder and I heat set the powder using my heat tool to make sure that my sentiment is going to stay put and it will not smear. And I love the result. Not only this gave me a nice black sentiment, but this also created a slightly raised image and it also added a little bit of shine to my sentiment. I used Simon Says Stamp Detail Clear Embossing Powder and I love the way this looks. Finally, I added my panel to an A2 side folding card base. I used thin foam adhesive squares because I wanted to pop it up. And this added a little bit of extra dimension to my card. You guys know me, I love to add dimension to my projects. I rarely make one layer cards. I always have something popped up on my cards. And I also used gems. These are the black gems from Spellbinders, and I just added a bunch onto my background, filling the gaps in. I just felt like I needed to add something a little bit, something extra to my background to make this card feel finished. And these gems worked perfectly. So here's a look at my card created with the Simon Says Stamp Halloween Friends stamp set and coordinating dies. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you'll give this idea a try. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!